So there's a huge opportunity right now to make money selling digital products created by AI. But if your strategy is to use ChatGPT to write you a PDF or an ebook, then you ain't going to make any money. Now, you would have seen people like this on your newsfeed selling you this new business model of like, hey, just create a PDF with AI and then sell it with Facebook ads and you're going to make a load of money. It doesn't work. And that's just the reality of it. Because let's be honest, let me ask you this. When was the last time you saw an ad for a PDF on Facebook? You thought, oh, that sounds good. Let me buy it. You bought it, you read it all, and you thought to yourself, oh, fuck, like that was worth the money. No one has ever done that because no one wants to read a friggin' 99-page PDF. People just don't want it. So it sounds cool, and the people selling you the business model, it can work for them because it sounds easy. Yes, you can create an ebook within 5 minutes with ChatGPT, but when you actually go and run ads to it, you don't make any money. You might make a few sales, but it's not profitable enough anyway. And it's basically just a bit of a shit show. And you're just like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. These people say you can make so much money, but you can't. And even people will say, oh, the only people making money selling PDFs are people selling PDFs, teaching you how to do the thing, right? But that's not even true. If we look at some of these guys that we can see their ads here. You can see, look at this guy. Boom, he's only got one ad running and it was launched yesterday. This campaign ain't making him money. This guy launched a couple of ads. Again, he's only got 3 ads running. This ain't going to make him any money. This guy, I've seen his ads a few times. Again, the only ads that are active were launched the other day and he's only got a couple of running. So if you check out their ads library and they haven't had ads running for a long time, not even them selling the business model of PDFs is making the money. Now, there are some people out there doing some good numbers selling that business model, granted. But even some people telling you that the machine works can't even get it to work for them. So that doesn't mean that there isn't an opportunity to sell digital products created with AI. You just can't do it the way that these people are telling you to do it. So I'm going to outline the 3 different buckets of products that we would like to sell if we actually want to start making money online selling digital products created by AI. So the first one is custom GPTs. So with the introduction of ChatGPT, everyone has access to it. People who aren't even in the business world use it to gather information. So the problem with selling PDFs is that that's all it is. It's just information, and people are aware enough of AI and ChatGPT that they know that if they have a question or they've got a problem, all they need to do is go to ChatGPT and ask the question. So people don't see the value in just buying information. And at the end of the day, again, no one wants to read a PDF. People don't want to read, they want results. So we want to try and get our products to basically bridge the gap to getting those results as quickly as possible. And that's what we can do with custom GPTs. So if you go to ChatGPT, you'll see that you can explore the GPTs available. And these are all basically different custom GPTs created for different purposes by different people. Now you can create one yourself. It's actually really easy to create and set up, and you can set it to private so it can't be accessed by the public like all of these can, and then you can sell it. We did it previously for an ad script writer. So we basically trained a ChatGPT or a custom GPT on our method for writing ads at scale info products, and we sold it. And people bought it because it basically was like a done-for-you script, a video script. But there's loads of different ones that you can do. So for example, like I just mentioned, you can do copywriting. So we did one for ad copywriting. You could do one for website, email marketing. The possibilities are literally endless. You could do it for offer creation. So you could create a custom GPT that helps business owners create an offer that will convert to cold traffic with Facebook ads. You can do it for social media posts. So you could do social media posts that go viral, and you could do this for different niches. So it could be coaches, but it also most likely would work better for if you went a bit more niche and you went for dentists or lawyers, and you could have a custom GPT that just spat out viral posts for those different industries. You could even create one for dating. So you could have a Tinder GPT that is basically trained on how to get dates and what responses to reply. So you could sell this to people, and you basically, all they have to do is basically input the conversation that they're having with someone on one of the dating apps, And then this custom GPT could give them like the perfect reply in order to get the date. So you could help them just basically like automate and improve their conversion rate from their dating apps, for example. You can do like health consults. So you could create a custom GPT that is basically trained on like skincare, for example. So anyone who's struggling with like acne or skin problems, you could sell that and they could go to that GPT and get advice instead of like paying to go to a private doctor. So these custom GPTs, they can be created and trained on absolutely anything. So you can just train it up on any specific knowledge that you have or someone who you know has, and then you can sell it as like a quicker and cheaper alternative of them either doing it themselves or going to some other expert or getting some help. So we're basically like quickening the process for them to get to that end result. And again, it's custom trained, so they don't feel like they can just go to ChatGPT and ask the same question, because you're training it for specific markets or industries or with specific knowledge that only you have. So that's number one. Bucket number two is AI automations. So you'll see this a lot. This takes a bit more of a technical setup, but you can do like a cold calling AI automation. So I know, for example, people in like the real estate space use this a lot. So they'll use like a cold calling AI automation or a cold calling AI agent or whatever you want to call it. That will basically cold call a lot of prospects to try and get a deal. You can use it for like social media outreach, email outreach, all the lead nurturing. You can create these. And again, you can create them for other businesses. So you can create them for, like you could create a AI nurturing bot for law firms, for example, and you can sell it to them. And it's trained specifically for personal injury cases, for example. You can create AI automations for funnel builds or website builds. So you could take on a client, all you need to do is send them a document and they fill out that document with information about their offer, their business, their customer, and you can have an AI automation that automatically builds a funnel for them or a website for them for their specific business based on the information that they provided. You can set up that automation and you can sell it as like a done for you product. Hey, this will create you like a done for you website, and it takes seconds. And all they need to do is fill out a quick onboarding form and you just need to create that automation. You could do like a pitch deck creation automation as well. So for example, if you want to like go and sell to finance firms or again, even law firms, and they are going to go into like an investor meeting or something or a client meeting and they're going to pitch their services, you can create an AI automation that spits out like a pitch deck for them to use. So all they would need to do is input information on their business and input information on like the potential client. And then you could create them like an automated pitch deck for them to use. So what would take them, hours, and these like CEOs would go home to their families and they'd have to spend all evening on their laptop getting the pitch deck ready for tomorrow's meeting. Well, you could just completely automate that. And again, it takes a little bit of a more technical setup, but you can use stuff like make.com. I used to use this back in the day. This is probably showing how long I've been in the game and how old I am, but this used to be called Integromat. I don't know when the name was changed, but I used to use it back in the day to create automations with Webinar Jam and ManyChat. But there's like literally endless opportunities with this, and I'm not tech savvy, and I worked out how to use it, and it's like super easy to use. So that's the second batch, and then the third batch, which is a little bit less AI, but again, this is far better than selling some PDF that no one wants to read, so they're not going to buy it, and then even if they do buy it, they're not going to end up going through it and reading it anyway. But low ticket products that are still working real well are scripts. So these could be like sales scripts, it could be outreach scripts, website templates, funnel templates, or even like, again, social media calendars. But the key here, and this is what I see people do wrong, is when something new like this gets introduced to the market, like AI, it's typically the smaller businesses or the more like modern businesses that adapt real quickly and start using AI. And that in our space is primarily like the online businesses. So you're looking at like info, so like people doing like online coaching, agencies, or people like doing e-commerce who are building like online brands. And I'm saying I'm in that market, we typically adapt to new technology quicker because we're typically smaller companies and we're a lot more flexible with our approach versus like a big corporate company that has like thousands of employees, and it would take like a big effort and a lot of money to like implement new systems, or more traditional businesses that are owned by the older generation and they're not necessarily as like tech savvy, and setting up something with AI, even though it's quite easy, would be quite intimidating to them. Those people are a lot slower. So what you want to do when you're creating these automations, don't go after the people who are already adapting quickly to this technology. And that's what I see people do. People will offer, copywriting, email copywriting for e-commerce businesses. But these e-commerce businesses probably already have an agency that's already using AI, or they're using it internally themselves. Same with like social media posts. All like the modern internet businesses are already using AI for this stuff. So you creating like an AI product for them specifically and trying to sell it with ads, not very likely that it's going to work, because all of those your ideal customers are probably at the same level of you in terms of like already adapting to the technology. The best example of what you need to do I can give is when back in the day, this guy, Tai Lopez, he released his social media marketing agency program. And what was real good here was that a lot of people made a shit ton of money, and they still do in these niches. But they basically took social media, which was like at that time the new thing. So this is like our version now of like AI. But back then, there was obviously a lot of businesses that didn't have a clue how to use social media. So we're talking dentists, lawyers, medical clinics, real estate agents. These more like traditional offline businesses, they didn't have a clue how to use social media. So you would just go to them and you would sell them social media services. And it's the same now. So even though the market for like online is huge, so most people, what they do is they go after the big markets. Oh, I'm going to go after like e-com, people who like sell online info and coaching or like online services. And because that market's huge, they're going to go after them. But what you really want to do when you're selling these types of AI products is you want to try and go as niche and specific as possible. And you actually want to go after these smaller markets, because these smaller markets, and it's not even small because like the real estate industry is like huge, right? But it's these more niche products that are going to work the best. So you want to create custom AI products for specific industries. So like I said, like real estate agents, they aren't going to be as well adverse with AI and new technology as you could be. So they're going to value all that stuff before that I mentioned that can be automated. They're going to value that highly. The same with all the traditional business like doctors, law firms, medical clinics, all those types of businesses that we could sell social media services to back in like 2017 with Tai Lopez's course. They are the best ones to sell AI services to now.